Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. We are on episode 258 of the podcast, 258. So make sure wherever you're listening, you like, subscribe, share, and review. Leave comments on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen, because we do this every week. And this is a new episode where we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot in the news, a lot going on. Let's just discuss the market first and foremost. Let's discuss the market first and foremost. Um, a lot going on in the stock market. We'll dive into it first and foremost. Let's take a look at, honestly, the past week, the SPY, SP 500, it's been flat. Like there's been ups and downs. It's been really just trading flat since the beginning of the year. Year to date, as you see, up 0.02%. So not much crazy movement in the first, few sessions of trading in January 2025. That's just because there's also not a lot of news. I don't think we've seen earnings yet, and there's just not much for the market to take a hold off of besides the Fed pretty much warning the market, warning people that, there's potentially shifts in administration and its new policies could make inflation hang out around a little bit longer for more than expected. So they released a statement that nearly all the committee participants found that upside risk to the inflation outlook had increased. So the upside risks to the inflation outlook increased. They added to investors' concerns, but so they said in discussing the outlook for monetary policy, participants indicated that the committee was at or near the point at which it would be appropriate to slow pace of policy easing. So they're saying, hey, we may be at the point where we slow the pace of which we cut rates. And so they're all getting to that point. Bond yields have climbed, and there's also potential tariffs and tax plans that the Fed believes could lead to a spike in inflation. So there's like tariffs and tax plans that the Fed believes could lead to a spike in inflation. So that's where you're seeing the kind of temperish move in the market is because people are ingesting that data, incoming administration, what could lead to, potential changes. And the Fed is making their stance clear, um, um, that they think there could be, prolonged inflation if some of these things take place. So um, that's something to take hold of and to watch going forward. It is very, very crucial to watch what the Fed is going to do going forward. Another somber note, um, there's wildfires ravaging LA. You're waking up to the news that 5 people died. Rest in peace to them and condolences to their family. And 130,000 have been evacuated. And massive wildfires continue to scorch the Los Angeles area. So this is the Pacific Palisades fire. It's leveled already 2,000 structures. It's the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history, the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history. Again, this is a sad, sad thing. People are losing homes, people are losing lives, animals, pets, belongings. The financial impact, they said, could be as high as $57 billion, the financial impact to the specific Palisades fire, which again, usually a very affluent area and it's spreading out to different areas of LA. So this is something that needs to be watched. I know there's people out there, try to combat and fight this, but it's just again, a terrible situation. We woke up in the last 24, 40 hours to see it unfolding and just hearing it. You probably know friends that are, going through that, and trying to figure out what to do and make sure they're okay and their family's safe. So again, it's a sad story there. We're going to keep our eyes on it just to make sure everyone's safe. Um, Back to the East Coast. We'll get back to the East Coast here. There's actually looking like I think we talked about this earlier, couple months ago. There was an East Coast port strike that was potentially coming. This was for the International Longshoremen's Association Dock Workers Union. They're pretty saying we're not going to import your cars, all this other stuff, unless we get a new deal done. They've reached a tentative agreement to do this. This was on Wednesday with port operators ahead of January 15th deadline. So they had a week or so left. The union obtained a pay increase after a short strike in October. So I was right, it was a few months ago. But disputes over automation were left unresolved. In a joint statement, the two parties said the agreement protects current ILL jobs while modernizing East and Gulf Coast ports. They're pretty much saying, hey, we're paying you a little bit more. But guess what? We're still going to automate this stuff. You guys are going to be out of jobs sooner or later. But the people that are working for now, they get paid a little bit more. But automation's coming, AI is coming, language models, everything is coming to make this cheaper for them and kicked out the workers. So That's essentially what it is. I haven't read the agreement, but it says that there's a tentative agreement. Let's read more into the deal. So the deal between the 45,000 dock workers and port employers averse the U.S. strike. They secure a 62% pay raise over 6 years, so that will incrementally increase over 6 years. The new agreement reportedly integrates technology to create jobs rather than to replace them. Okay. So we'll see if that actually happens. But that is one of the ways that's the way that they're saying it's going to happen. It's going to increase jobs. I don't know how that happens, but um, so 62% over 6 years and increase jobs with automation rather than get rid of them. We'll see if that actually happens. I'll be watching that closely. Disney, they actually shared some insight into their streaming numbers. Around 157 million global monthly active users stream Disney content with ads. It's the first time Disney's disclosed how many of its viewers were watching ad-supported content on its platform. That includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. The figure, average per month over the last 6 months, also counts 120 million, 112 million users, and demonstrates that the advertiser has become a key driver for profitability for streaming services. So interesting. So they're saying Disney is the bellwether for profitability for streaming services. Because if you remember the model, it's create incredible content, get subscribers at a low price, slowly increase that price, pump the money back into creating incredible content, and continue to get more subscribers in different areas, slowly increase that price, turn over and pump the money back into incredible content. So it's a hard business model to scale, obviously, unless you have a large platform and the ability to do it in lots of cash. But because it could be a loss leader to start until it gains profitability once you scale enough subscribers, that no matter how much content you're pumping out, that you're profitable and doing it at an incredible margin, right? And so that's the sticking point for all streamers. Disney is showing an insight into their numbers and saying we're doing well with streaming, right? Like if you think of Disney, the different businesses and the different ways they make money. Obviously, you have parks and Rex, which is probably not doing as well. And then you have, of course, you have your ESPN cable, linear cable networks, which that's been having struggles as people have moved to streaming. But of course, Disney also have a streamer, so they're competing in a different arena too, where they have streaming as well. When they bought a good chunk of Hulu, I think that's a majority stake in Hulu as well. And so they have these different avenues to make money, and they're showing a different way to do it. And they're saying that they're doing well. So we'll keep an eye on it. Again, I'm still riding it. I think Disney does well. I think Netflix is the leader in that area. Prime Video, Apple TV Plus, they're also some great competitors that are coming along with great content. So you're going to see that battle for a very, very long time. Let's take a look at Blackstone. They bet another 300 million on AI. Blackstone, the huge investment fund company, is sinking 300 million into DDN, a California-based operation that helps other firms store and analyze troves of data. So DDN's products are using a high number of profile AI projects, including XAI's Colossus supercomputer. Over the last couple of years, Blackstone has made a string of investments in data centers and other companies that support the AI boom. It's also eyeing the accounting sector, backing Citrin Cooperman earlier this week. Okay, interesting. So is Citrin Cooperman have anything to do with AI? That's just a accounting firm, right? Let's see if we can find out. So Blackstone, we're now reading the Blackstone article in the investment into Citrin Cooperman. The U.S. accounting firm Citrin, the deal targets enterprise value over 2 billion, marks a significant step up in valuations across the sector. So it's just a accounting firm has nothing to do with AI, but they're just showing the different investments that Blackstone's making. Of course, a large investment fund that invests, they own a lot of the things that you use and operate, but they're really pushing the AI as is everyone, right? Because they're understanding that this is a tool for the future, and they're trying to make their mark by having stakes in and making bets in companies that they think that will do well. So that's a huge thing to look out for. Of course, we talked about AI extensively and the tools and how to use them, and maybe we'll do an overview of how to use AI and different tools that are out there. I could go over the ones that I've used and are using so that you guys can get a feel of what could be potentially good for you. In other news, corporate hiring slowed in December. Companies added fewer than expected jobs in December, according to ADP. Corporate payrolls rose by 122,000 last month. That's the smallest amount since August. And the payrolls press processors also reported slowing wage growth, with those switching jobs seeing a 7.1% gain. versus those who remained in their roles, notching just a 4%, 4.6% increase. So a slow in December, the economy, a little bit of slowdown here. Is that a bellwether of something we don't know? Many people have thought we would have a recession for a while, 2023, 2024, it didn't happen. So we'll keep our eyes on these metrics. So they will give us a tell into what is going on largely in the economy, and if there is something more dangerous at stake. Vail profits. Okay, so Vail Resorts. I don't know if you guys heard the story about Vail Resorts, the ski town area, Vail Resort area that um, had a bunch of people. It was going viral because there was strikes. They had strikes. Their workers striking. They had shut down slopes, and it attracts scrutiny from a lot of people. So Park City Mountain skiers have been stuck on the buddy slopes after owner Vail Resorts kept two-thirds of the Utah's resorts trails closed, including nearly all of its most advanced runs. More than 200 Park City safety patrollers have been on strike for more than a week, causing a staffing crisis at America's largest ski resort during the busy holiday season. Park City Ski Patrollers Union aimed to close negotiations with Vail Resorts before the ski season started, but the $7 billion company rejected workers' pay bump proposal, saying its wage hikes had outpaced inflation. So another strike going on, and it's a battle between workers and companies. They're saying that they want to raise, and the company is saying that we paid you increased wages, and then it's outpaced inflation. So why do you guys want more? And this caused a lot of goers posting videos online, so there were long lines that couldn't get things done. They're complaining about their New Year's vacation. Some posters blamed striking workers for their bad days in the mountain, while others supported the union and put the onus on Vail Resort. So it gets really contentious on both sides. Do you support the workers or the company? Which do you support? Critics are using the strike to talk about how Vail Resort's private equity past led to dominant America's skiing scene. So, of course, Vail Resort's purchased by a private equity company, as we just noted in the previous article that we were discussing. Private equity companies. What are they there for? They're taking these funds, large pools of money from very rich, wealthy people, and also potentially very companies. They're putting that into businesses and they're turning a profit and then selling these businesses later, right? To make a profit, you have to increase revenue significantly or cut expenses. So when private equity comes in, it's not always, you have to just be wary because they may be making a lot of changes in your organization, just so you're aware. So that's a good story that leads into and weaves back into the things we just talked about. And so we'll keep an eye on that one. Was there anything else before we get to questions of the week? Comcast, the story on Comcast, I do not find that interesting. Barnes and Noble plans to open 60 stores this year. Okay, so Barnes and Noble's trying to make a comeback. They're opening 60 stores this year. They're on the brink of bankruptcy 6 years ago, but they're now unveiling plans to open 60 new stores in the US. Recall that Barnes and Noble shifted its strategy to one closer resembling that of indie shops after being scooped up by the hedge fund again, Elliott Management. So the hedge fund Elliott Management came in and said, hey, we're going to make it more indie shops rather than large. Remember, Barnes and Noble, huge. Like, I don't know how they would be able to cover lease payments on these huge stores where the books are like what, $20. How much are books these days? I do mine all virtual, Kindle. Like going in to buy a book, like that just doesn't make sense. So private equity company came in and said we're going to change the model, more small indie shops where you could find stuff, maybe pop in, hang out. But it's not a huge big box location. I'm assuming that's what they're doing. Um, so that's an interesting story. I want to see if they're actually making waves and making a comeback based on that. We talked about the strike already. Yeah, we got in through a lot, ladies and gentlemen, on the Your Money, Your Life. Let's go into our personal finance questions of the week, see what we have for the week. I think there was a couple good ones. Mainly around, I find this one really good about the value of a dollar. So the question is, which US state has the highest real value of $100? So real value of $100, just showing like the prices and what things cost in each state and how far your $100 will go. And so which one has the highest real value of $100 is going to be Arkansas. So in Arkansas, so think what, so the question is really asking, think $100 buys the same amount of stuff from state to state, get real. And 100 in Arkansas, $100 gets you goes as far as $113. It gets you that much because it's things are so cheap there, apparently. Interesting, interesting. Go banking rates to the survey. And so yeah, I mean Arkansas, I've never been. Has anyone ever been to Arkansas? Let me know. All they have there, if I'm not mistaken, is Bentonville, which is, Walmart location or Walmart corporate headquarters, but I've never been. I think that's Arkansas. I'm not even 100% sure, to be honest. Let's go to the next question. What percentage of teens report being online almost constantly? I would say like 20%. Oh, answer is 46, up from 24% 10 years ago. So 10 years ago it was 20%. Now the answer is 46%. They're online constantly. I get it. You wake up, social media, there's so many distractions for these youngsters, for everyone, social media, this, to that. How do you stay unplugged? Maybe you do weeks of being unplugged. That's a good thing. I would support that in 2025, just getting away. I've made sure that my distractions are eliminated. I'm super focused on the things and the goals at hand. So I've made my circle clean and made sure that I'm real focused on what I got to do because there's so much exciting stuff to do, which is the point. So personal, back on the the thing, hard, heavy workouts, right? Like we're using supplements to increase the ability to have energy in the gym, which has been great, honestly. And so yeah, I think for all those folks, hope you had a great new year. 2025 is here, working hard. We're doing things we need to do. Make sure you stay tapped in because we'll be here every week and we'll talk to you next week.